Hey South Georgia, I'm Mary Alexanders, and we're about to go beyond the whistle with Lowndes Vikings head coach Adam Carter. Coach Carter, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
This will be your first season going into Lowndes. Talk to me about the journey getting up to Lowndes.
It's been an interesting path. I think that a lot of coaches are probably in similar paths, I guess. You know, that as a young coach, you were ready to move wherever. You know, I didn't have a wife. I didn't have my little man at the time. And if I thought an opportunity for my career was a good one, I'd jump on it. And so I moved around early. I got a chance to do the college thing for a little bit. I got a chance to get my feet wet in South Georgia at Camden County, which kind of started the trajectory of my career. You know, I got a chance to be a head coach at 28, and that didn't go so well. So then I kind of restarted my career. But I've been blessed to really work for really good people that have taught me a lot of things and that have prepared me, I think, for this opportunity, for this job.
Mm-hmm. And you were at Grayson right before this. You won a state championship there. You know, there's a pretty big difference between Atlanta and living in South Georgia. So what's the biggest transition that you and your family have really had to go through as you've moved down here?
So I think that it's really good because we've been able to do the South Georgia thing before, and then we went north, and now we're coming back. So that kind of helped the transition. Obviously a much slower pace here. You know, the Metro Atlanta world is so busy. The people are just different. The environment's different. The expectations there and here are the same. You know, they want you to play week 15 and they expect you to win week 15. But the transition has been really good. I think some of the kids are still kids. I think that's one thing that people kind of lose track of is as you're going through transitions, you're still dealing with kids, and they're teenage boys that you've got to go in and you've got to earn their trust. My family has jumped into this community. Steele and Molly are here every day. When people walk in, our folks want to talk to Molly and Steele more than they want to talk to me. So that's made everything much easier. But the South Georgia world is where we wanted to be for our family. We wanted that sense of community. We wanted that sense of togetherness and the support that you get down here. You know, obviously, people, when you talk about Metro Atlanta and Grayson, are going to talk about how many kids we had on our team that went to college, you know, and all those things. Well, we'll get there here. You know, we'll get there. We'll do our job of getting our kids promoted, getting our kids looked at, getting them at camps. I think we've already got 4 committed right now. And so those are differences. You know, I think the lifestyle up there is so many trainers, and it's 707, and it's all that. And that's not as big a deal down here, and so it gives me more opportunities to work with our kids than somebody else, which is a positive. But you know, we just got to get our kids more adapted to today's game, I guess, in a little bit of a sense of, you know, if those kids up north, they play year round in something and something football, and so their reps are just so much more. So we got a little catch up to do, but this is where we wanted to be, and South Georgia football in this community is where we wanted to be.
Well, I know Lowndes is extremely excited to have you here, but you mentioned your son Steele, and if you haven't met Steele yet, he's the cutest little 3-year-old and just a little firecracker. He's actually sitting over there, but I have a little experience, you know, behind the scenes of a coach's household, but I think every coach's household is different. Everybody has their own certain routine, but how have you, throughout your career and beginning at Lowndes, how have you really been able to manage, you know, your family versus this family?
That's right. Well, and this game and what we do professionally is going to take away from home. We know that. You try to do the best job you can in all aspects and not let something go without, you know, the best you can. You've been there. If you don't know, her dad is on my staff. He's a great man. But, you know, it's one of those things. I came in when I was interviewed, and part of my interview, you know, in the conversation was my son and my wife are going to be here. And not everybody opens up like that, but I've seen it done a couple of different ways, and no way is right or wrong. You know, I just felt personally that I wanted my son here, I wanted my wife here. I think it's important for our football, they see me as coach. They see my staff as coach. But when our kids are around and they see us as dad, I think that's important. You know, you're going to have kids that grow up without father figures, without a male figure. And if all they hear is the coach side of things, they're still missing something. So I think that's important. You know, Miss McCall, my principal, if Steele sees Miss McCall, he's running to her right now. And so they've bought into that, and I do the best I can. They're going to be here, you know, every day at practice, and he'll be standing on the sideline, and sometimes he'll get hit with a ball, and it just happens, you know. But they're going to be here.
We've all been there, I think, at one point.
If you're on the sidelines, you better be ready for a ball.
If you're a coach's kid, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. You know, he's playing in the rings right now, but this is all he knows. I mean, when he wakes up in the morning before he goes to school every day, he makes his mom bring him up here so he can have breakfast with the boys. And so it's a family thing for us, and my wife has bought into it. She's the one that kind of keeps this thing going for sure and keeps me grounded and level. So it's a blessing that I'm able to do those things. Again, it's not that way every place.
And like you said, a lot of kids are going to look up, not just to you, but I mean your entire coaching staff as father figures. A lot of them are.
Right.
I think that's probably the most special part about a player and a coach's bond. But for you specifically, what do you want to implement in these kids? I know football hits the ground running all year long.
That's right.
But what do you really want to implement in these kids as they transition into college life or whatever is in store for them after high school?
You know, I think everybody will sit there and kind of answer the same when it comes to the character and the accountability and growing young men and all those things. You know, I think that's what we want. But I think one of the bigger things that I want to do, and people, a lot of time people just hear me, they don't necessarily hear the message sometimes, right? But like I want our kids to be able to deal with tough situations. And I tell them, like, life is going to hit you in the face at some point in time. How are you going to respond? And you're not thinking about it right now as a 16 and 17-year-old. But the way that you're able to handle adversity and handle situations that are tough, that's lost right now. And once we can find a way to get it back, I think we'll be okay.
I'm ready to go to the movie. Are you ready to go down
Okay,
there?
yep, we're going to go to that movie when it comes out. Sorry.
No,
Paw Patrol
you're
movie.
fine.
So,
Paw Patrol?
Paw Patrol movie right
Is that
there.
what he's into right now?
Yeah. We went to the movie the other day and they showed previews and okay, get in there.
I wish y'all could see what this
You're not gonna have your phone, bud. Okay, figured out. But yeah, Paw Patrol in theaters. That's where we're headed. But okay, all right.
That's the plans after practice.
That's after practice. Yeah, that
That's
again.
what we call that balance.
You got to have that balance. You got to laugh it off sometimes. Kids don't care if you're at work or not. They don't care if you're in an interview or
And they
not.
shouldn't.
No,
That's the thing,
they're just
is they
being kids.
shouldn't.
They're
Yeah.
just being kids. So
And it's okay for kids to be kids.
That's right.
For sure.
But if we can keep our kids accountable, right? If we can keep them accountable, keep them in that mindset of like life is tough and football's tough. And I tell ours all the time, like if the first time you've ever had to handle adversity or something that's tough is when you're a father and you're 32 years old and you've lost your job or you can't pay your bill. If that's the first time, now you're in trouble. And so I want to put them in tough situations. I want to make them uncomfortable. And they don't always get it at the time. I'm hoping when you look forward in a couple of years, they'll come back and they'll understand it.
This is a very strong word, but I think it's so easy for fans or just the general public to kind of dehumanize coaches and kids. I think I say that's an appropriate word.
Right.
But I think they just forget they are people and their kids and their students and their fathers and their husbands and whatnot beyond the whistle.
That's right.
So with you getting to not know Coach Carter, but we want to get to know Adam Carter.
Yep.
So outside of football, I know that you love spending time with your family. Is there anything specific you guys like to do or a hobby that you enjoy?
So my wife's family lives on the water over on the coastal side of Georgia. We really enjoy going over there and just getting on the boat with my brother-in-law and just relaxing, and because there's nobody out there and you just kind of get to get away. I guess just like every other coach, I've tried to play golf. I am awful at it. You know,
Coach Andrews has trained him.
it's just not really good when we get out there. You know, we try to get him involved, and so like in the spring when we first got here, we got him in 3-year-old T-ball. So those were cool things for me to sit back and just as a dad to watch. And you know, I think we're lazy. My family's lazy, and so like when we get time off, like if you go ask Steele what he wants to do today, he's gonna tell you he wants to go home. Like we're homebodies. Maybe that's a COVID thing. I don't know, but
very much
it might be. That's just
But
what
I
it's
think
used
a lot
to.
of coaches' families are like that. I mean, you spend so much time away from each other, especially if you're a college coach, because, you know, we live that life too. But even, I equivalent South Georgia high school football to college a lot of the times because so much work goes into it to have beautiful facilities like this, you know, and to have successful seasons. And so I think it's so important to have that family time and just be couch potatoes.
And just sit around, watch Paw Patrol, you know, and it's just that's relaxing for me. One of my coaches the other day was talking about somebody in the community, and they were like, well, Coach don't hunt or fish, and he doesn't really golf. Like, what does he do? And then I had to think about it. I'm like, I don't know what I do. Like, I think that I work, I spend time with my family, I hang out with little man and do what he wants to do, and like, I don't know. I had to think about it, like I said. So I try to swing the golf club, and I'm awful at it, you know. So I got to find some hobbies, I guess.
Look, to be good at golf, you have to retire.
That's right, and just do golf.
I tried to give a little swing at golf. One point when I was in middle school, didn't work out. Tried it again at Top Golf when I was in college. I left sore my entire this side of the body because I wasn't good at it, and I kept swinging and swinging and swinging. And I was like, I'm just going to stick to talking.
I tell you, that's right. I tell folks we play search and rescue when I'm out there playing golf. We're just searching and trying to find a ball the whole time.
And so kind of still going, you know, beyond the whistle with you, what's kind of something that people really wouldn't know about you? Do you have any superstitions on game day or anything like that?
You know, I tell my folks this all the time. I'm not superstitious. My wife would tell you I'm very OCD. But I like to think of it as I'm a creature of habit.
That's a great way to phrase it.
My habits are constant. You know, like what I do in the morning, at 5:05 my alarm clock goes off, my routine every morning is the same. But it's just a habit. And my Friday night thing since I've been married for sure, well, not even married, we were even dating then, but I drink a cherry Coke before the game. And she brings it to me. She finds the store that she wants to get it from, and she keeps it pretty constant. Even on away games, she'll get it before she leaves, type stuff. And that's one of just our things, I guess, is that cherry Coke. It sounds strange, I guess, but that's what we do.
And speaking of your wife, if you didn't know, earlier today we had pictures for the program, and so I actually got to meet your wife for the first time.
Yes.
And if you haven't met her, she's so sweet. She's an angel. And so let's kind of talk about you guys for a little bit. So where did y'all meet? How long have you guys been married?
Met in 2013 and got married in December of 17. So I met her over in Hinesville when I was head coach at Brabble. Got my entire in-law family lives there, and they kind of just took me in and showed me the ropes over there and showed me the water really for the first time in my life. And then she's moved around with me this whole time, and been right there, been that support. She's a Valdosta State grad, two-time.
Wow.
She is a speech therapist. She's not doing that right now. She's doing some other stuff right now, but very smart, very good mom. She's very supportive. People will notice that. You know how it is, and we all talk about our wives that same, but it's like, you know, that's the person he knows got your back. You may mess it up, they got your back, and you got to have that person. And she handles that really well. She's going to be in the bleachers on Friday night, yelling and screaming and carrying on just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And so. This is Steele, by the way. Say hey. You know, tell them, say go Vikings.
Go Vikings.
All right, we took her shoe off. Take your other one off, and we'll just put it on later.
Hey,
Take it off. Steele.
What's your favorite movie or TV show right now?
What's your favorite TV show?
Favorite thing to watch on TV?
Ninja Kid.
Ninja Kids, that's right.
Ninja Kids.
Yeah.
And Ninja Turtles.
And Ninja Turtles, yeah.
Oh, how much do you love football?
Show her how much you love football. Oh, yeah.
That much.
You love the boys? Tell her who your favorite player is. Who's your boys?
Smoke.
Smoke. Who else?
Smoke
Road
Fleming.
Dog.
Road Dog. Who else?
Seafoam.
Sifa, good job. Proctor.
and what?
I might
Yeah.
have to put a headset on you on Friday night.
Yeah, tell everybody how to play the
Give you a
football.
little whistle.
Do you coach?
No, Daddy, no, you forgot someone.
This
Who?
is Coach Steele.
Yep, that's right.
The other one name is Jay. One you
Jalen, I forgot Jalen. Oh my stars. Do you coach football? Do you coach them in the weight room? Yeah, you do. You say, let's go, boys.
But what?
All right, let me finish. Go over there with your phone. He is not shy. He is a people person, and I love that. And I think our careers help that. You may know that the same. Like being around it.
Definitely made me who I am.
Yeah.
It 100%. I firmly believe if I didn't grow up a coach's kid, I would not be doing what I'm doing. I
Right.
would not be as outspoken as I am. I would not be as much of a people person. But I mean, it's kind of it's a blessing and a curse being a coach's kid. I
It's
wouldn't
tough.
say a curse, but
It's
I mean,
tough.
people don't understand. And we were just talking about your wife. People don't understand. Everyone thinks the coaches are the backbone of a program, and once you get behind the scenes, that's not true. It's the coaches' wives.
Right, and it's all of them. You know, mine does a big role, but like our assistant coaches and their wives and what they do, and you know, being able to let them be here with our kids and do what I ask them to do with the time I ask of them. You know, and so it is definitely a group effort. Obviously, we were talking about earlier. You know, everybody thinks football all the time. You know, like when I go to the grocery store, I'm just dad. You know those kind of things, and I'm not going to the grocery store to talk about what play I'm calling on 1st and 10. You know, and so which is fine. You know, but we do try to decompress sometimes and just step away and have some be able to be a normal person, so to speak.
Well, you have to have that balance. And so I went to college out of state. I went to Mississippi State, and people just don't understand when I said that football is a religion down here. It is. Head coaches, they're known all over
Right.
South Georgia, all the way up to Atlanta,
That's
you know.
right.
And that was really different for us when my dad was a head coach at one point. I mean, we'd be in church worshiping, and we'd have people say, "How's the team looking today?"
Yeah, that's right. That's
You
right.
know, and I think it's just so easy for people to forget, like, y'all talk much more, like, y'all don't talk about football outside of
Yeah.
work, you know, and everybody wants to know that, and that's fine. We're not saying don't, you know what I mean, don't come up and ask and things like that, but I think it's very important for fans and the public just to remember that you guys are human, you know,
Yeah.
and you guys have emotions, and your wives have emotions, your kids have emotions, especially during the stands on Friday nights. If a bad play is called. So how does your wife and your family kind of deal with that?
Oh
being a play
yeah,
caller, so
you know it's got to be you're into the game, you're into the emotion of it. You know, you're part of the community, all those things. And then you know stuff's going to go wrong on Friday night. You know, this is one of the professions where coaching, not just here at Lowndes, but coaching is one of the professions where all 8,000 people up there are judging you literally every second. I can walk into we can throw out all kind of jobs right now, and their supervisor may show up to their job once a month. Well, when we go out there, it's every second, you know, and there's going to be stuff that is questioned, which is fine. I'm not going to be perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. Our kids aren't going to be perfect. And so you just got to roll with it. Now, up there, from a family standpoint, now, again, like, people have to, it's tough. You have to listen to some stuff because, again, I think what happens is
Fans are passionate.
They are.
Passion isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be passionate.
not at all. You know, but I tell folks all the time, like I love my job, and I want to be here a long time. There's at no point in time will I go into the game and say, hey, I'm going to do this so we lose a game, you know, and so that's not the case, you know, and I think what happens when it gets to the family part is like, then things turn to a personal side. You know, I think that's what kind of happens. It goes from coach to then when it flips to the personal stuff is kind of when it hits home a little bit. And mine has been with me since I was a first year head coach ever. And so she's seen a bunch games. All right. But when it gets personal, that's when they have to be able to, you know, turn the blind eye a little bit and just kind of tune things out. Molly will do a pretty good job. We tend to, and hopefully my sister-in-law sees this, but my sister-in-law, she does not have control of hers, and she will
hard.
she will give back to the situation, I guess. But again,
Yeah.
that you can say that I don't know football at all, and you can say that I shouldn't be the coach. You can do all those things, and that's everybody's opinion. For every football coach, not just me. Again, I think when it starts to hit home for families and stuff, when it turns personal, that kind of thing, and because we put a lot into this thing, again, I think that I hope everybody knows, and as a coaching profession, no, we're not always going to make right decisions. We're going to mess up. We're not always the smartest. We were hired to do a job. We're going to go try to do our job to the best of our ability. And if it goes wrong, it's on us. That's how it's supposed to be. And we're going to go back to work on Saturday and Sunday, and we're going to try our best to fix it. That's all we can do.
Yep. And I think, and again, the reason why we go beyond the whistle is because there's an entirely different perspective. There's a fine line, and then once you cross over and see what really goes on behind the scenes, you have such a larger appreciation for coaches and what they have to go through. And from what I've seen, growing up, people understand how much time you guys sacrifice. Even if you get blown out 50-0, you spent weeks preparing for that game. So as you prepare for these games, do you have a certain system that you abide by?
Yes.
You don't have to, give away all your secrets, but do you have a specific system that you go by? And how much is it safe to say that you spend majority of your time here rather than at home?
We do. We have a plan, and I have not changed the plan. It's been the same since 2018 as I was a head coach at Creekview, as far as how our stuff is structured, right? And because I've always said, it's what I believe in. It's not going to change just because it's a different job. We're not going to just sit up there and look at each other because we're at Lowndes now instead of Creekview. We're going to do the same job. But we have exactly the way my brain works, and I said a minute ago how I am, but I am ADD. I'm one of those guys that, I'm going to be thinking about one thing, and then next thing you know, my mind's over here. So I have to have a schedule.
I do too, so and
Yes.
then you hyper-focus on that
that.
thing for hours.
That's
and
correct.
You can't leave.
Yep. So I have to have
The
an
more you
order.
know.
That's right. A lot of coaches can say that they're going to spend, they're going to stay up there to 1 or 2 o'clock on Sunday, and they're going to get all this done. Well, I can't hold that capacity of information, I think. And so we break our stuff down, and the way I look at things is we're not looking at a clock. I'm not getting paid by the hour. We're not looking at a clock type thing. So when our schedule is done of what we're supposed to get done on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when it's done, that's when we leave. If it's not done, we keep working, and when that schedule and those lists of things are all checked off, and we feel like we've given our kids the best opportunity and put them in the best situations, and then we can go home. I was laughing, one of our admins in Lowndes was talking the other day, and just in conversation, and the comment was made is these 12, 13-hour days right here pre-planning are hard. And I told Molly, I said, it's 16 every day as soon as Sunday starts next week, and that people don't really know that. I told one of our kids, he was out hurt, and Molly was at practice, still was at practice, and they were talking, and I don't know how the conversation came up because a kid came and talked to me about it later, but he said, Coach, Molly said you didn't get home till 11 o'clock. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, we're just, we're not in season yet, and
That's what I was saying. I was like, that's pretty early.
it was like, and so, but then he was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, and then you turn around here and you're up at 5 the next morning to try to hit the gym to take care of yourself a little bit, because it is a long season, hopefully, to try to keep, your mental health going and those kind of things. And so that schedule keeps me in place. It keeps me structured, and our staff structured. They know starting tomorrow, our Sunday meetings start at 2. This is the schedule we follow. This is what has to be done. This is the laundry that has to be done. This is what's got to be put up. This is what we do offense, defensively. Once we're done, then we go home, and that'll be the same every Sunday. We won't change that. I like to keep things the same because I think it helps coaches too. They know what to expect when they get there. They know what they got to have done when they get there. And we're more efficient, I feel like, when we're that way. And I try to be respectful of people's time. I think that's really important as a head coach. I really do. And again, some people are going to say that, you got to work till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in order to be successful. And I don't think that way. I think you got to work to be successful, and you got to be efficient. And when you're done, you're done. You know, in that thing.
It works for you.
You do.
I mean, I think it's different for everybody. But kind of getting to a little bit of, because I know Viking fans, they're going to want to hear a little bit about football.
Yeah.
So when you came here, you have a very large staff that you hired. And so was there a specific reasoning behind that? I think you have 20, I could be wrong.
I think there's 20 of us.
20
20 of us with our 9th grade, maybe. I don't know. They're all in there. They're all working this morning, right? It's hard to keep up with. We're all in different places so much, you know, like even in the summertime, the way our schedule was, I think there may be 24, counting our 9th grade, and then you know, Fred is our our recruiting coordinator.
The majority of these coaches come with you from Grayson, or is this just a compilation of everybody you've met over a period of time? And what really can we expect from this coaching staff this year?
I'm telling you, we have a really good staff. If you start asking around and looking around, we're really good staff-wise. I like the guys. One of the things that I do that's very important to me is when we interview folks, I talk a lot of X and O's with like OCDC guys. But like position coaches, I talk about like who they are and their families and the fit. I don't think we always put that into account enough. When you spend as much time with each other as we do, one, you're not going to agree on everything. That's a given. But it's more about relationships and the fit. You know, we have a couple of guys that stayed that's been here at Lowndes for a little bit. Your dad's included. Very blessed that he stayed with us. We have a couple of defensive guys. Pretty much offensively, we were all new on the offensive side. 9th grade Coach Hollies, the 9th grade head coach, stayed. A couple of those guys were on last year's staff as well. I brought in 2 of those guys. One was a former player of mine, which is pretty cool. That's the first time I've had that, so that's neat. But you know, we got guys. I have I think 5 with me, 6 with me that were on my staff at Grayson, and that helps. I think it helps the locker room. I think it helps the coach in the office, because it ain't news to them every time something happens. They've seen it before, and they know how we want it done. And I think it makes it easier on the other assistant coaches. They can say, all right, hey, what's this supposed to look like? And if I miss something, Chris Reese, my assistant head coach, or Shelton Carlton, associate coach, they're going to come behind me and fix it, because they're an extension of me. And I trust those 2 guys with everything. And so they're going to come right behind me. They're going to fix stuff. And they do most of the stuff behind the scenes that people don't know about, you know, and that's important of that. And again, you know, I hired Coach Bailey. He's been a college offensive coordinator his entire career. I got him from West Alabama. He was at University of Hawaii. He's been at Cal Poly, Idaho State. And so that was huge. Got, you know, 2 new offensive line coaches with Coach Rogers and Avery Jernigan. Coach Jernigan just got done playing at Auburn. Coach Reese already mentioned. John Davis Sellers is coming with me. He was with Grayson with me, and before that, he was at Austin P for 7 years. So, you know, I feel really, really good about what we got over there on the offensive side of the ball. And defensively, obviously, we have your dad. We already mentioned him and what he's done in his career. You have Coach Demps and Coach Quinn, who's been here forever. I added Andrew Christie to coach our D-line. LaCharles Pringle, who had a little stint with the Buffalo Bills, is helping me in the secondary as well. And then one of the biggest additions that people don't really take into consideration is Corey McCullough. Corey McCullough is my kicking coach and my special teams coordinator. And he is a huge deal to have here. And to have one of those guys in South Georgia that can handle that, and he can still go out there right now and punt and kick with the best of them right now. He was an All-American at Alcorn State, and he was with me at Grayson, and he is tremendous. And so our specialists are very, very. One of my punter's mom came to me the other day. She's actually admin, and she was like, "Coach, you don't know how big of an influence he's already had on my son, because he's with them all the time. Yeah. It's not me going to coach specialists. No, they got their own coach that he has a schedule for, that they work every day, and they do this, this, and this. And so, great staff. Really, really excited about those guys."
But what really about, you know, either X's and O's or offense and defense are we going to see differently from Lowndes this year? Do we expect a pretty drastic change in the way that you guys are going to move the ball and defend it?
Yeah, everything will look different schematically. I mean, hopefully the brand that Lowndes has been for years, and that winning formula of just being really physical and running the football and being hard-nosed is still there. That's what we're pushing for. It'll look different. I think Coach Bailey's got his own style on offense. Obviously, defensively, will look different with our schematics. But again, I think that at the end of the day, it's still the same goals. It's just we're going a different way to do it, and getting the best 11 on the field is important. And just putting kids in situations to be successful is what you're going to see. Hopefully we can find ways to win games in the special team side of things like that and give, props to Coach McCullough when it comes to that. And so hopefully we can find some wins there and battle it out and try to, I tell people all the time defensively, we're all having the same goal. It's stop the run, don't let them throw it over the top of you, and hope for the best, you know what I mean? And now the offenses and the talent's so good, it's limit the amount of yards, but you're not stopping these people. You're not just going to flat out stop people in 7A most of the time. So your goal is to limit people and then hold them to field goals. You want to sit with her?
You want to sit with me?
You do?
Come here. Can you say hey? But kind of going into the last question, if you could describe this team in one word to Vikings fans as we approach the 2023 season, what would that one word be?
That's kind of a good one. When you first said it, I had to think for a second. And I think, as you go through, and I'm going to kind of piggyback what you said, but I'm going to say relentless. You've got a senior class that is the third head coach. You know what I mean? They've had all kind of transition and they just keep coming back. If these seniors have finished, it's because they love Lowndes football. And they love being here, and they're doing it for their teammates, they're doing it for the community because they've been thrown a ton of curveballs that's out of their control. And they keep coming back. And so they've listened to new people talk, they've listened to new schemes, they've listened to new ways of doing weight room, they've listened to new ways to do picture day, but they've just keep coming back. And I told them the first day I met them, if we're going to go this year, it'll be because of our seniors and what they bring to the table. Our juniors are really talented, but our seniors will be the reason if we win, because of their ability to just mentally handle what they've been through and not just completely just give it up. And so we keep that mindset and we just keep coming back every day and not quitting and keep just toughing it out. We're going to be fine.
As you know, Viking Nation is a very passionate fan base, but I think with that being said, there kind of comes a lot of pressure. Have you kind of felt that pressure of wanting to, appease the fans or really give them what they want to see?
First of all, I can promise everybody, you're not going to put more pressure on me than I put on myself. I really want to do a good job. Every day I come to work to do a good job and to do right by these kids. So that pressure that they put on, again, it's already been there, but these folks just want to go out there and have a good product. Again, I'll never promise wins and losses. But I'll promise that we're going to go out there and we're going to play a good brand of football. And, the expectations and pressure are the same that we've been dealing with for the last 5 years. And so there's no different up there. The expectations, again, we said it, we want to play game 15 and win game 15. But the support, and like you were saying, I've been on the other part of that a couple times now. And I've never been anywhere like it. And I am 100% pumped to be on that sideline with that band playing and our concrete crazies up there and our fans going. I'm pumped to be on that side of it and just to hear their passion. I remember I told them this, I took a picture of it and told them in my interview. Last year when I was here, they scored a touchdown, play action, threw it over the top for a touchdown. And I have a picture still on my phone where I screenshot it of every kid on the sideline celebrating and all 10,000 in the bleachers standing up. Yep. And it still makes the hair on my skin stand up. And so that passion is why I wanted to be here. I want to be somewhere where it's important. Yeah. And they invest in the kids. Our booster club and our parents being here every morning to cook for our kids or make sandwiches or meet the Vikings, they feed them. I want to be a part of that. And so I'm looking forward to it. I think hopefully I thrive in those expectations and that pressure that they're going to give us.
And that's the special thing about Lowndes and you know, that their passion comes from such a deep place of love for
That's it.
this community, and it comes from a deep place of love for the kids. A lot of the people who are Lowndes Vikings fans went to school here. They've been through it all. But so we are so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for
Yes,
sitting down
ma'am.
with me today. Do you have anything to say?
Anytime, say go Vikings.
Go Vikings.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you on the next episode of Beyond the Whistle.
Thank you. Good job, bud.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on all my social medias to keep up with future episodes of Beyond the Whistle. See you guys next time.